Nick, thank you so much for joining me today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
How do you say your last name?
Attaway,
Nick Attaway. Where are you calling in from today?
Dallas, Texas.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to be in Dallas in March, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
You gonna say Maxwell thing?
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go.
That's awesome. Well, would love to meet you in person there.
Okay.
Tell me about this, what kind of real estate stuff are you doing in Dallas right now?
Well, currently I'm just wholesaling right now.
Okay.
I do kind of some creative ways of holding properties for real estate, like for as like on the financing and subject to stuff like that.
Okay. And then do you do any wholesaling?
Yes, wholesaling. That's
Okay.
number one.
And then tell me about, you set up this call because you had a deal that you wanted to tell me about, right?
Yes, correct.
Sweet. I want to hear all about it.
Okay, that's actually my second deal from DealMachine that I closed on. It's pretty much I was driving for dollars. Well, I have a vacant list, and I typically drive out a lot of property that's on my vacant list.
Yeah.
Sometimes I find property that's not on my vacant list, so I put them through DealMachine as well. And so it just kind of give me, just give me where I can just look for properties while I'm actually going to properties just to check, see if they're really vacant or not. And I always come across some different properties a lot.
So that's interesting. So you actually drive to specific houses while you're driving for dollars, and the houses that you drive to are on a vacant list. Where do you get that?
I get a list from a friend of mine. He provides me a vacant list.
It sounds like we should all get a friend like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea where he gets that, or where somebody in a different city might look for a list like that?
I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. I can ask and figure that information out, but he charges me for it, but it works. So
cool. Yeah, no pressure or anything. I just love the idea and wanted to share if anybody else wanted to try that too. And so you're saying that you go around, how many houses are on that list?
Typically maybe 400 in a smaller town. Sometimes like in Dallas area, it can go up to thousands.
Okay. And do you go to all of those properties, or do you kind of narrow them down with a certain region?
I kind of narrow it down like in the hottest zip codes. I try to drive all the ones in the hottest zip code first, and then I branch out. Great.
And not to go off on a tangent, but how do you know which ones are the hottest zip codes?
I learned the thing that Max taught me on one of his YouTube videos, where you can go to the list source and do a reverse search on the cash buyers in the area. So that's what I do.
That's awesome. I saw that was part of his 30-day challenge.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so if any of you guys are listening to this, you can find that on his Instagram, which is The Real Maxwell. And he started the 30-day challenge about 30 days ago. So that would be January 16th, 2019, for those of you listening. You just scroll back there and you can find out how to do that. So great success story. Did you do the 30-day challenge?
No, I didn't. I was already wholesaling before he came out with that challenge. Okay,
cool. And then this is the second deal. So tell me, how'd you come about the first and the second deal?
Well, the first one, it was on the vacant list too. But if you drove by the property, you would never thought it was vacant. And so I was just kept sending. I think I sent like 4 mailers to her, and she finally called me. She was like, the house was left to her like years ago, but it was actually vacant, but she didn't stay there, but she kept the house up. And so I guess after the 4th mailer, she finally called me. She was like, well, I'm ready to sell now. I'm just ready to let it go. So I like, well, I'm your guy.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that repeat mail is so important because it's all about timing. She might have been getting other pieces of mail, but you were the one who was there on that day when she decided she was finally ready to sell.
That's what actually happened to the second deal. So I think it was the 3rd try, and she actually finally called because a family member passed away, and she was like, well, we're ready to sell now. So
Gotcha. Yeah, something like that happens when you don't know it, and then they're ready to sell. Love that. So that was the first one?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay. And then tell me any details about that. Like, was it pretty smooth? How'd you know what to get under contract for?
Actually, I thought I had it on for a good price. It was some things like I couldn't really tell, like, for like it was some plumbing issues.
Okay.
I couldn't see when I first initially walked through, but when I had my cash buyers walk through there, they pointed it out to me.
Okay.
I had to go back and renegotiate with her, which she was fine with that. But it actually came down to the closing, like almost the last day I had it on the contract, but I got it closed on. I had to take up the assignment, but it was fine. As long as I could get it closed.
Yeah, that's great. Where did you find your buyer?
I already had cash buyers. I go to auctions, and I just network. I go to the network events around around Tyler, and I just network.
Yep. Two of the top sources that I hear all the time are those real estate meetups and then your local auction. All right, cool. So what was the spread on that first deal?
The first deal I got, I closed with a 4K assignment.
All right. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Tell me about the second deal. How long ago was the second deal?
The second deal, we scheduled to close on it next week.
Okay.
I have a cash buyer. I actually got him from the auction that I met him at the auction that Tuesday of this month, which is they have it every first Tuesday of this month. I went out there and I seen him. He was the only one that was actually buying. So I was like, well, I need to get in contact with him. And so I contacted him and come to find out he owns the property next door to that property. So he really wanted that property. And so we got it under contract, dropped the earnest money off. Everything's set to go.
Man, that's great. What's your spread going to be on the second one?
12,000.
12,000.
Yes. What
was the difference between the first deal and the second deal, you think, that allowed you to get the bigger spread?
I think I did a better job on getting the house on the contract for a better number.
Okay.
I kind of know the repairs now that I did from that first transaction that I did.
So was it just experience, or do you think you have like a source that you kind of check with, or a contractor?
It's definitely experience now. I learned like how some investors go by there, like they charge this much for rehab per square foot. Some do like 10 to 15, $20 a square foot, and they're like, well, if it's that, then that's pretty much how much the rehab is gonna cost. So I kind of just go by that now. Yep,
totally get that. One thing that helped me, and still helps me, is there's this book called the Big Book of Estimating Rehab Costs or something like that. It's on Bigger Pockets, and I started with that. Those numbers aren't always perfect, and I kind of learned over time as well, and got a feel for stuff and what it costs.
Okay.
Well, this is great, man. I can't wait to hear once you close this deal. That's going to be great. Do you have any idea how many properties you had in DealMachine whenever you got both of these deals?
I think my first deal I might have had maybe 100.
Okay.
The second deal I probably have maybe like 160. Like I do a lot of direct targeting when I do direct mail. I know. I guess that's why my rate is better, because I do direct targeting, because I actually have a vacant list. And I used to not mail to like the same owner. Like if I go to a property and the mailing address is the same, I used to not mail to him. But I talked to David like a couple of weeks ago. I mean, not David, but Josh. I talked to Josh a couple of weeks ago. He was like, man, just start mailing to him, because you never know. That might be ready to sell. So I started mailing to them. And I mean, I started getting callbacks from there too. I haven't closed on one yet, but I started getting callbacks on them.
Yeah, all of my deals have been owner occupied. And it's a really good tip that not a lot of people talk about when you're driving, because when you're mass mailing, everybody targets the absentee owners. Those are great leads. And if you're only mailing to the absentee owners when you're driving for dollars, you're kind of doubling up on that list that's already saturated. And the properties that are owner occupied, a lot of people aren't mailing to at all. And so they do oftentimes have things that come up where they need to get rid of that property, especially if it's looking run down. So that's a really great tip. And I think you're going to get a deal from that. And that your numbers look great, by the way, too, because we usually see it takes at least 200 properties to get a deal. When you're adding 200 properties and sending mail at least 3 times. And so you said you were right at 100. I love that you said she answered your 4th postcard. So it looks like you're doing the repeat mail. And then the second deal on when you had 160 properties, normally that would be around 400 properties as we would see. So great numbers. And I'm pumped to see you get up to that 400 because there's more deals in there that you're going to get.
Definitely. I'm trying to add more team members so I can start hitting different regions and areas.
Okay.
Faster.
How are you going to find team members?
Word of mouth, and I guess I'm gonna try to do some Facebook posting or something. Try to get some team members added.
Mm-hmm. And then, what are you going to pay them? Have you figured that out?
I haven't actually. I thought about maybe doing like a percentage of the assignment, but I don't know. Like I kind of want to, because I know they're gonna be driving around, and some people don't understand that it might take months before you get your money.
Right.
So they might not be as motivated to keep doing it if they're not getting any money up front or something. So I just haven't thought about it. I don't really know what to pay, honestly.
Well, I've actually got a YouTube video and a blog post called 3 Payment Structures for Your Deal Finders. And that's really helpful to help you decide, what type of person you'd want to pay what. Because you're absolutely right. A lot of people will get tired and they'll quit because they're going to expect money fast, especially if you find them on Craigslist or you don't know them. So in summary, like the first payment structure is a commission base, like you were describing. That's great for a best friend or like your mom or somebody else who's going to drive for you that you already know.
Okay.
And then the second payment structure is hourly, and somebody could drive for you for probably 12. I paid mine 15 an hour, but I bet you could even find somebody who'd do it for 12. And I have them actually find at least 10 to 15 houses per hour. So I have a restriction, and it's got to meet the qualifications. It's got to be in a certain zip code, run down, peeling paint, etc. That's all actually listed in the training we have for deal finders that you can use when you're adding them to your team in DealMachine. And then the third payment structure is like if you have a mailman or a professional that kind of drives in random places every day. Those are really good to pay per deal because they're going to be driving in random places. Those are the best deals, in my opinion, just the random finds. And so you pay them up to maybe $5 a deal. You got to make it worth their time because they're busy professionals. And remember, like those kind of deals will usually be the best, just kind of tucked away where nobody else is looking. So that's kind of in summary of the payment structures that we found the best for the right people.
Okay. I'll definitely look into that then.
Yeah, I'll for those listening, I'll post the link to those 2 in the description of this video. And then Nick, I'm going to send it over to you in the chat before we get off here.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. And man, I'm really excited. Have you done a lot of deals outside of DealMachine as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then how come you decided to use DealMachine since you're already doing deals through other marketing methods?
It's easy. It's convenient. Because I used to drive by properties, I have to write them all down, and sometimes when I get home or get back to the office, I forget. And I can look. I lost a couple of deals because I maybe wrote it down on a piece of paper. I couldn't find the paper again, or maybe I searched it too late and somebody else got it. But with DealMachine, as soon as I go buy a property, take a picture of it, I can send the postcard immediately or call them.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you've been doing more mailing than calling, right?
Well, through DealMachine, I only do mailings through DealMachine. I cold call and I do bandit signs. So that's on the type of mailings I do is through DealMachine.
That's great. Well, great, man. Thanks so much for sharing your story. I know it's going to help. We're going to put it on our YouTube channel, and there's somebody out there that's going to hear this and they're going to have an aha moment, you know, that's going to change what they're doing in their business. So thanks for taking the time to share the video. And we also want to celebrate with you. I'm going to send you a credit to get a DealMachine hat or some item from our swag store. So you can pick that out and ship it to yourself.
Okay, cool. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks again. And I hope you have a great Monday. Looking forward to seeing you in Dallas.
All right, I will be there.